What's up? What's up? Welcome to the show. Mic check 1 2. Shaka Rankin Black in the building. The Truth Fairy 9. Long time no see. Long time no see. Yes, indeed. Well, I ain't had much time to prepare for this show today. So, this is going to come straight from the hip. Straight improvisation based on my selected memory. I'm going to try to do this show. It should take only about 30 minutes. I'm going to see who else is going to show up and just give them a few more minutes. And then we can carry on. Yeah, we just going to see who else going to show up. Oh, okay, cool. I got the I had to refresh. Grown folks in the building. Ali the Sage in the building. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a pop-up show. Maybe it should only last 30 minutes of your time. I just want to discuss that Michael Jackson may still be alive. Oh, you think he was cloned? That's quite possible. I got two devices streaming, or I got. See, my phone needs to be charged, so it's on the other side of the room, and then I got something over here so I can read the chat. But I'm trying to decide what to look at. I'm listening from one device and reading the chat from another device and doing the show with the laptop. It's crazy. Oh, you did a lot of research? Good. Um, well, because I'm using one device to read and the other device to listen, um, I might not be able to pull up any information, but I'm going to do this all improvisational. I didn't have much time to prepare for this. And if you did a lot of research, we probably came up with the same conclusion or the same things. I'm not going with the clone theory. I'm going with that he didn't die. He just killed his professional image, or his persona died, but the man still lives. Okay? Oh, okay. You do think he may be alive, but he's burned. Well, the thing is, the man, Michael Joe Jackson, the human being, is still alive, but Michael Jackson, the king of pop, is dead. He died on the medium that gave birth to him. So if entertainment gave birth to him, he died in the entertainment world as an entertainer, and his whole death was a show, right? But the physical being, Michael Joe Jackson, is still alive. And as long as he never steps into the arena as Michael Jackson, he is not breaking any laws, and he didn't commit any crimes. Yep, they killed off the character. To my knowledge, the life insurance was never claimed, but the insurance on the concert was, and they added 15 shows to the concert. They added 15 shows to the tour at the last minute, which raised the stakes of the insurance. Yeah, when he said this was it, he was being sarcastic. You got to understand Michael Jackson's humor. He has a very dry, deadpan humor. He's very sarcastic. So I'm trying to type up something. But like I said, I'm coming from the hip on this. And I'm coming from memory. I did tons and tons of research on his death maybe a year ago or so. So I can only remember some of the stuff. You see what I'm saying? And the only thing that I'm looking up, oh yeah, I love his music. And he's a genius, and he's so much of a genius that I believe that he's capable of faking his death so he can have a normal life. You see what I'm saying? Now, what I'm looking up is I'm trying to see if this lady has been wiped off the map, because my theory was based on information provided by another lady. This lady is is a retired investigative journalist from Southern California. And I'm trying to get her name. I don't know if you heard about her, but she has a million video, not a million, but she has many videos on the theories, and she actually wrote a book and but I cannot get her name to save my life. And it ain't easy to look her up because they do be getting rid of her channels and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Well, let's get right into it. With the amount of people that we have, we can get into it. Okay, the man of the hour. The man of the hour. The king of pop. Okay? I like Scream so much that it was one of the first black music videos that was shot in high resolution, like high definition. So the parts where Janet was flashing her body and all that stuff, I looked at that frame by frame. I just click, 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 frame by frame. Every frame was treated. Any frame could have been used as a photo. There were no out of focus, no blurred moments. Every frame they treated that video frame by frame. And I'm glad you brought up Scream because when Janet went back on tour and did the song Scream with her brother on the screen, there was a male vocalist who sounded just like Michael Jackson in the concert, and he was not singing the original lyrics. He sung the lyrics, but a couple of words were changed just to let you know that whoever was singing live, and it sounded like Michael Jackson. And if it was him, that's just his little way of playing with you and messing with your mind because he know he got away with, faking his death. See, people don't peep that. The lyrics in Scream, when he sung his part, was live in the concert. Some of the words were altered. Yes, indeed, Blue. Now, I don't know where to begin, but I do have a surprise for you. I got 3 clips. That's a surprise, and I'll save that towards the end. But we can start. We can start in the middle. His brother went to Larry King. His brother spoke to Larry King and answered some questions. His brother was wearing a shirt that said "He Lives" on the back of the shirt. Do you know at the day that Michael Jackson supposedly had died, those things became trademarked and copywritten. He Lives, the shirts, the books, all that stuff on the day. What's up, Bright Street? How you doing? And another thing, there was a Michael Jackson lookalike that died 2 years prior at the age of 48. There's no retirement plan for lookalikes, okay? Now, I'm gonna be jumping around. There's a company called Cryonics that was going out of business in Los Angeles, and people was already stealing DNA for some of the heads that they kept on ice. If you never heard of Cryonics, it's a facility that keeps rich people heads and famous athletes and stuff on ice until sometime in the future they can make another body for them, whether it's artificial or something, right? So, did you know that before they freeze the body and take the head off the body, they inject the body with Propofol, tons of Propofol, the same stuff that Michael took to supposedly rest. Now, I seen a video with my own eyes from a testimony of a doctor who said that the amount of Propofol that Michael Jackson had in his body, in his room, He said that a living person could not have that amount of Propathol. He would have to already been dead to have that amount. And like I said before, they put Propathol in the bodies before they freeze them and disconnect the head and cryonics. Well, remember I said cryonics is going out of business. And I do believe cloning is real, but I'm surprised the people that they have their heads severed and frozen waiting for a new body, I'm surprised they haven't used the cloning technique for them. But there's a baseball player there that has several holes in his head from people stealing DNA from his body, so from his head. So cloning is obviously real, and I agree with you. Michael Jackson gave the cryonics company a hefty donation to save that company. So I'm sure if he needed any favors, that company be willing to do it. And at the time of Michael Jackson's death, all the companies that he had in Los Angeles was still running. Those companies are in his alias names, those same names that they tried to say he bought drugs, that he was buying drugs under assumed names. Well, those assumed names are actually the names of the owner of several companies in Los Angeles that Michael Jackson owned. So let's get this straight. On the day that he supposedly died, all these copyrights and trademarks went through from the family. His father didn't even know where he was buried. His father was promoting his new label when he was asked where is his son buried. Also, his brother was on Larry King, and he had a Freudian slip. His brother said, well, when the ambulance got there, he was already gone. I mean, he was dead already. You see what I'm saying? Now, the ambulance has mirror windows. So that little fake picture of someone taking a picture of him through the through the ambulance window is phony. And then the picture is from way back from the Pepsi incident. But it wasn't even that. It was a regular press photo that was turned sideways, and they used Photoshop on it to make it look like he was inside the ambulance. Oh, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and I totally understand why he just wanted to stop doing music, because he'd been working since he was 5 years old. He just wanted to raise his family. I've seen tons of home video of him and just his children, and he is a very family person. I'm not here to say Michael was in the Illuminati. I'm not here to say that he might have been a female when he was born. I'm not going down those roads. All I'm saying is he was the second hardest working artist on earth. His mentor and his idol was the hardest working man on earth. And I'm saying that the persona, the image, the star, Michael Jackson is dead, but the human being, Michael Joe Jackson, may still be alive. You see what I'm saying? I seen people drop to Michael Jackson's feet like he was the second coming of Jesus, crying, collapsing, passing out. You know how hard it is for a person to keep their ego in check when people do that? You have to be a very, very smart person to keep your ego in check. Now, I want to let you know that Michael Jackson, his whole entire body and image was an act. That's how much he was into it. His face, everything was a work of art for his art. He sacrificed his body to make his art more appealing and more financially lucrative. Even his voice was not his voice. But he'd been using that voice for so long that sometimes he forget his natural voice. And he had some work done on his vocal cords too, to keep that same child's voice. That's how deep it gets. Okay? Now, Michael and Prince may have collaborated, but we won't know until they ready to make money off of it. You see what I'm saying? But Prince was a musician and Michael was more of a producer singer, and Prince was a producer, producer, singer, engineer. But Michael didn't sit down behind pianos and guitars and all that. It's just, maybe people from Minneapolis don't rock with people from Indiana. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but yeah, I don't want to get too far off the track. First of all, Jermaine said in his book that he had a jet engine ready to take Michael out the country to Saudi Arabia if he would have lost the trial when they were trying to take him to court over the children. So Jermaine said he had a jet ready. So if you want to know who helped Michael Jackson put on this hoax, it's time to look at Jermaine. He is the conductor of the whole event. Everybody else is actors, okay? But Jermaine stuck to the script because he already had a script ready for the court trial. But now his brother is like, I'm out of here, man. See, everybody can't pull a Tina Turner. Tina Turner was able to retire. Tina Turner, on her last concert, she grossed $128 million. Her final concert of her career, she grossed $128 million. Hopped on the plane and said, I'm done. Okay? Now, if you want to believe in any kind of conspiracy, I'm going to say this, and this is not really a conspiracy because this happened before during slavery time. We all know that civil rights leaders and activists, including groups such as the Masons and ministers and pastors, helped slaves escape to the North for their freedom. This is not a big secret. If you was a slave and you made it to the North and you didn't know what house to go to, all you had to do is look and see if there's laundry hanging out on the laundry line in the backyard. And if the sheets were a certain color, you knew that was a safe house. All you had to do is look at someone's chimney. And if the chimney was a certain color, you know that was a safe house. You saw the Masonic colors. So what I'm saying is Michael Jackson was an institutional slave since he was 5. His own father was his overseer. Okay? He wasn't his master, but he was his overseer. And a long time ago, he was able to break away from his overseer. When Michael Jackson, in his final preparation for his last concert, and he was renting that expensive house in California, his father could not see him without an appointment, and his father could not just walk on his property to see his son. Okay? And that wasn't Michael's people trying to keep his father away. That was Michael trying to keep his father away. You see what I'm saying? Well, there's more slaves today, in today's times, than there were slaves back then. So slavery never disappeared. And then there's two forms. And what I'm talking about today is institutional slavery. I don't care how much money they paying you. If you an athlete or an entertainer in the commercial industry, you are a institutional slave. You don't even own your number or your jersey. When Madden football came out with those Madden games, it didn't matter whether you were dead or alive or a former athlete. He used your image, your number, because they own the team, the number, the jersey, the stadium. They don't owe you shit. John Madden made tons of money off of these football players, crippled, dead, alive, presently playing or traded or kicked out of the NFL. Madden will use your identity for the game. Okay? Now, at some point, these secret societies that helped slaves in the past, they said, you know what? Slavery is back, but it's on a it's on a different level. It's institutional. And now you can take one man and make more money off of him than 100 plantations. That's all they did. They consolidated hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people into one human, boost him up, and then make all the money off of him. You see what I'm saying? And Michael Jackson knew this. Michael Jackson was no dummy. I'm trying to tell you, everything about him was created for the illusion. So when he do finally be himself, you wouldn't even recognize him. The same thing for Marilyn Manson, but since he's Caucasian, he don't have to fake his death. He could just stop wearing his makeup. But I ain't dissing Marilyn Manson, because Marilyn Manson had a black Jesus on his wall. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay. Michael Jackson was a genius indeed, and he was no dummy. Now, I can be corrected. Some of the things that I'm going to speak on, I'm very rusty on the information. You have to excuse me. Somehow Michael Jackson pictures keep showing up in my random IG. You know how they show you different IG stuff? And I said, you know what? This must be a sign or a message. I got to speak on Michael Jackson. It just kept the pictures. I just went through 200 pictures. I'm like, you know what? It's time to speak on Michael Jackson. Like I said, there's a lady from Los Angeles. She wrote a book called The Michael Jackson Hoax. She's a retired investigative journalist for a news station down in LA. And she has a lot of valid points. And I'm going to speak on them briefly. Now, some of the things I've seen with my own eyes, like, let's see. When the helicopter came, first of all, the ambulance took its time coming out of the home. He had to do a 3-point turn. They didn't even turn on their sirens. All right. Second of all, the room was very warm. Of course, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you, but I can go by their words. If they make the mistake of putting down exactly what it is, thinking that we're too dumb to know, then that's what it is. They said the room was hot like a sauna and the bed was sweaty. They said that the doctor gave him CPR in the bed. Well, that's a red flag, because everybody knows that you put a person on a hard, flat surface to give them CPR. Plus, you got to ventilate their air passage, and you got to apply hard pressure on the chest. That's why the whole Nipsey Hussle CPR thing looked like BS. You can't sell me on that, because I know what real CPR looks like. Now, the only reason you would have a room that hot and the bed to be that sweaty is because they brought in the body of the lookalike that they had on ice at the cryonic facility, and they tried to thaw the body out as much as they could before they called the ambulance. And that's why when they tested his blood, there was a high dose of Proventhal because, like the doctor said in the testimony, that amount was too high for a living being to have that amount of Proventhal in his body. So therefore, he did not overdose on Proventhal. Whoever that person was already dead, and he was injected with Proventhal. And that Michael Jackson lookalike wrote a letter to his fans. And on the Michael Jackson lookalike death certificate, it has his birth name, but it also says on the birth certificate, on the death certificate, Michael, aka Michael Joe Jackson. Now check this out. Michael Jackson death certificate do not exist. There is a death certificate that says Michael Joseph Jackson. Now, if Michael Jackson's father was alive today, and you tell Michael Jackson's father to his face that his son middle name is Joseph, and see what he do. We ain't gonna go there, Truth Fairy. Michael Jackson middle name is not Joe. You know how you could tell your government name when you see it? Because it will be in all capital letters. On your social security card, all capital letters. On your birth certificate, any government document, all capital letters. On Michael Jackson California driver's license, on his passport, on his social security, it says Michael Joe Jackson because Joe named him after himself. Right on, Blue. And I swear, some of these things I'm going to say could be debated, and I can stand to be corrected because I didn't warm up for this. I tried to put some stuff together at the last minute, and I did study this a year ago, so some of the stuff I don't remember completely. But so who is Michael Joseph Jackson? That's not the king of pop. Michael Joe Jackson is the king of pop. And if you really want to get technical, only Michael Jackson is the king of pop. Michael Joe Jackson is the man behind the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Now, at the beginning, I said, Evelyn, that I'm not going to talk about Janet and Michael's sexual gender, but I do believe in freedom of speech and all of that. The only thing that I'm talking about is the fact that he may be alive, why he killed his persona, why he faked his death. He was tired of working, and his kids are getting older. All right? So, the same group of people, not the same exact people, but the descendants of the same people who helped slaves to their freedom are now helping some entertainers to their freedom. But they cannot be that entertainer anymore. They have to live a normal life. Do you know when Michael Jackson converted to Islam, he lived in Saudi Arabia for a year with his family? And a lot of people don't know that he had converted to Islam. Michael Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness. And I believe when he faked his death, he went back to Saudi Arabia and laid low. And when the coast was clear, he went to Canada to live. And his mother left for 3 months to visit him in Saudi Arabia. And then she came back. When she said she needed a break from the kids, that sounded ridiculous. She needed a break from all the grandkids. How many black families and black households that you just saw great grandmothers and grandmothers put up with all the noise, mess, and drama, and the homework, the food, the clothes. They never went to no resort for 3 months to get away from that. She went to go check on her son. It's her and her son. Okay, and to this day, they go back to the house. It's all secret, like no cameras. They go every year. They have an anniversary trip back to the house. In Canada, Michael Jackson kids have been spotted, and when they open up the SUV doors, these people come out with these big old black sheets that are like 15 feet long, and you can't even see who's getting in and out of the SUVs. And it's still a tall, skinny dude walking around with a curtain on his head and skinny arms sticking out like ET, window shopping and buying stuff in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Um, there was a big insurance plan on that concert. And just like Miles Davis, they had a film crew on him just in case he dropped dead on stage because they was going to exploit that. But Michael Jackson learned from everybody before him. He saw the writing on the wall. So you know why the insurance company didn't go after the family? I mean, the concert promoter didn't go after the families because they're satisfied. They added 15 shows. See, he only had to do 35 shows. And there must have been a misunderstanding of the contract because they was allowed to add 15 more shows. Michael Jackson called Dick Gregory or somebody, and he was crying. I heard the recording. He said, "They're trying to kill me. They literally trying to kill me." Basically, if he do 15 more shows and don't get the rest and stuff like that, there is a chance he might drop dead on stage. But the same people that insured Tina Turner legs insured the concert. And the concert promoter from England is so gangster. I'm sure they got mafia ties that they didn't even want to have dinner. They didn't even want to meet him as a celebration of a money making venture. They just was like, do the job. Thank you very much. We all going to make money. That's how arrogant they was. You see? And right before he, faked his death, he gave a speech that was equal to the ballot or the bullet. He gave a speech that was equal to I Have a Dream. He gave a speech that was equal to JFK's speech when he was going to expose secret societies and the mafia, even though they was the same people. They got him there, and his father was a bootlegger. You see what I'm saying? We know that, like, it's all good. You could put that in the chat room. I'm not going to speak on it. I believe in freedom of speech. But I just want to go by what we can see with our own eyes. Michael Jackson, when he said he owned most of Sony, he was telling the truth. When he said Tony Martola and all those people was dangerous and evil, there may be some truth to that. You know what I'm saying? Mariah Carey was married to him, and she got out of there. What she could take with her. Michael Jackson is 5 years old. He started when he was 5. You don't think he peeped game? What's up, Grandma? And everybody else and Suki the Sweet and everybody. You don't think that, look, do you remember when you was 5 and people try to walk around the corner and hit a joint or walk around the corner and sip some liquor or something? They try not to curse in front of you, but you knew what time it was. He had all these years to peep game. He bought the Beatles catalog. He outbid Paul McCartney for his own music. He bought over 3,000 songs from the Beatles, and I think he only paid about $42 million. But he sold 30 songs out of 3,000 plus songs. He sold 30 songs for $800 million. Now you tell me that he's not a shrewd businessman. This brother was cold. They try to tell you that off camera, his voice do not sound like that. He would check you in a minute. He from Indiana. You know them dudes in Indiana is all talk. They might not whoop your ass, but they'll whoop your ass with words. Beat the hell out you with words. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm glad you brought Conrad up. Conrad is a decorated Mason. And I have nothing against Masons. Like I said, Masons help slaves to their freedom, like I spoke earlier. My great-grandfather was a Mason, and my stepmother's father was a Mason, and that's East Coast, Midwest, and West Coast. High ranking. So Conrad Murray is a high-level Mason. Conrad Murray made $300,000 a month. Conrad Murray took a pay cut to be Michael Jackson's personal physician. He was only getting around $100,000 a month to be Michael Jackson's physician or a doctor or attendant, but in his own practice, he was making $300,000 a month. Okay? So, Conrad Murray was there for a reason. Like I said, a secret group that have all the resources and the ability to make things happen, such as the Masons, because your Masons are your sheriff, your judges, your paramedics, your firemen, your state police, your anybody that's doing well and got a good job and making, good money. If you African American, especially in the Midwest and the East Coast, you would lean towards joining the group. Now, today, most of these people are in their 70s and 80s, but I do see a revival, and this is not to get people to join. I'm not trying to get people to join. I'm just saying, who else would have the resources and the money to help or save someone? And who have done it in the past, if they did it in the past as a group, they could do it again in the present as a group. That's all I'm saying. And so when they come pick up your body from the hospital in a helicopter, hold on one second. So when you have a helicopter driver come get you, when you have the morticians or the people, you know what I'm talking about. All these people is possible Mason members. The ambulance driver, the people that work in the mortuary, the people that work in the morgue of the hospital, the helicopter people. You witness with your own eyes different Masons passing him from person to person. On that helicopter, there was 2 bodies. When the helicopter doors opened, there were 2 gurneys. The person on the second gurney sat up. We don't know who that was. And why was there two gurneys and 2 bodies covered up when they was only picking up 1 body? Well, we're going to have to continue this conversation because I have tons of more things to say about that. So we're going to have to fast forward to the video footage I have. I got 3 video clips. Basically, Dave was on Larry King and Nico Brando was on satellite talking to Larry King, and they were watching the hearse drive through the gardens of this cemetery. And guess what? They never buried him in that cemetery. They just used that for television because it looks so beautiful. You see what I'm saying? None of Michael Jackson's closest comrades and friends and confidants went to any funeral, okay? And at the outdoor funeral, people were just whispering and nobody looked upset. They were just whispering and talking, like nothing happened. And then the makeup artist spent 9 hours for a closed casket. It was 3 makeup artists. And when they got interviewed, nobody asked him what he looked like. But they caught one makeup artist off camera, and that makeup artist said, well, his lips was removed and his nose was removed and there was no hair. If you want to hide someone's identity in a way other than the teeth and stuff, the lips would tell you their nationality, their nose, and especially their hair. So Michael Jackson lookalike might have been of a different nationality, and if you remove his lips, his nose, and his hair, they both probably look alike. And Michael Jackson had a lot of fake replicas of his own body. He used to fake going in the ambulances and leave in a limousine going one way while the ambulance went another way. When he was in those wheelchairs and stuff, that stuff was all publicity stunts and stuff like that. And but what I wanted to say is, I believe that Michael Jackson went on Larry King pretending to be his friend Dave. And he spoke of himself as a third person when he was talking to Larry King and Nico Brando. And the eyes don't lie. You can put on makeup and all that stuff, but the eyes you can't do nothing about really. And Dave is not that articulate. Dave is a painter. Well, he's dead now. May he rest in peace. He died a year ago. But Dave has a raspy voice. He wears Coke bottle glasses. Dave doesn't speak as elegant as Michael Jackson. And then Nico tried to cover it up. I'm going to let you hear from his own mouth. Nico says, when Michael died, it seemed like Dave took on Michael Jackson's spirit. He would sound like him right, I bet. So that's my evidence, what Nico Brando said. I'm going to let you check out these 3 clips right quick, and then I got to go because I got a client, and then we're going to do a part 2 to this for show. So here we go.
Las Vegas artist Dave. He died at the age of 42 last month in a Las Vegas hospital. Dave was badly scarred at the age of 6 when his father actually tried to murder him.
Michael Jackson is another person totally with the mask.
I love movies. He was a moviegoer. He loves movies as well. And he was like, yo, man, I gotta take you to this theater. This new technology they got is like 4D. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I don't know how we expect to go to the movies, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is Michael Jackson. Like, how the hell are we gonna actually go to the movies? So he grabbed the kids. They looking normal. Mike comes out. He has his disguise on, So I starts laughing because I didn't even recognize him, Sometimes I forget that he's supposed to be in his disguise, And I keep calling him Mike. So when I realized he was peeping, then I start calling him Dave. Dave.
You, our world has come to an interesting point in an interesting time. This is a very interesting project we're working on. I want to thank each and every one of you for your overwhelming support. May God bless you. I love you. Good night.
Thank you very much for all of your support, and may God bless you all. I love you. Goodbye.
Remember Las Vegas artist Dave. He died at the age of 42 last month at a Las Vegas hospital. Dave was badly scarred at the age of 6 when his father actually tried to burn him to death. Dave was a close friend of Michael Jackson, who he met shortly after that attack.
I felt like he had like Michael Jackson's spirit in him, because there were times that he even sounded like him talking, and it would just kind of blow my mind sometimes.
Well, Dave's cause of death is still under investigation.
Well, we're going to have to do a part 2. I got to go. I'm still at work, but thanks for taking the time to check out the show. And if you missed anything, please catch the playback. And earlier I did a little lounge thing, DJ Mix. You might want to check that out. So y'all be cool. I still ain't got my voice back, but I'm on the road to recovery. Peace and hair grease. Not too bad.
I'm the magnificent.
Your name is.
I'm the magnificent.
Yo, man, I don't think they heard you. Why don't you tell them what your name is?